I am so grateful to be here today. Let me find my presentation. I do have an ID address. Let me see if I can remember it. Oh no, a security alert. So I'm Kim Angeli, and a lot of you know me. I moved here about 3 years ago from Raleigh, North Carolina. And so I'm so honored to be up here, and I'm going to apologize first. On Tuesday, I could not speak. I had a cough. I don't know where it came from, but I got rid of it. Thank God for doTERRA drops. If you've never heard of them, they're awesome. So I usually speak about gratitude and relationships, and I could just come up here and talk about gratitude and relationships really easily. But when I got asked to speak about defining moments, can you all hear me? No? Okay, sorry. I'm used to walking around. So I'm really good at speaking about gratitude and relationships. So when I was asked about defining moments, I had to kind of pull back and relook at my life. I moved here about 3 years ago, and I owned an insurance agency. And basically, hold on, let me gather my thoughts right here. I'm used to walking around, I apologize. Oh, we have a minor in here. Yay, thank you. I really can't stand I have to walk and talk. Can you hear me now? Yes. Yay. So I am so grateful to be first. To go over my defining moments, I had to kind of research defining moments because I'm used to talking about gratitude and relationships. So I am so glad to be first, because how many of you know what Eat the Big Frog First is? How many of you do that every day? So this is a concept I learned when I was at Cisco Systems. And so if you have a really impending, I call them grumpy clients or a bad conversation, I'm going to do that first. Because otherwise, it hangs over my head all day long. And the frog is in the back of my mind, so I'm going to eat the big frog first. So I'm so grateful to be first so that I could sit there and watch everybody else the rest of the afternoon. So when I was working on the conference, like I said, I'm really good at gratitude and relationships, because the last 15 years I've transformed myself into this grateful person. I didn't start here. I had a defining moment in my life that I will share with you that changed the course of my life forever. A lot of you don't even know the story because you know the girl on the other side that's really grateful. But I wasn't always that grateful person. I'm an only child. We're a little self-centered. We're really a little bit about ourselves. And I've had people argue with me, no, you can't be an only child. You think of others. Oh, not always. All my college roommates, it was always about me. I had to have the big room with my own bed. I didn't like to share. So one day God said, Kim, we're going to change that. So what is a defining moment? Have all of y'all had defining moments? Some chosen, some not. Some defining moments aren't by choice. Mine wasn't. So all of you have had defining moments. We have little ones, we have big ones. So I had to go back over the past 15 years, because that's really, I call that my transformation. So a defining moment means a point in your life that changed you forever. This defining moment changed me forever. This defining moment was awful. It was terrible. I thought my life had ended in my mind. So it was April 29th of 2001. But I'm going to take you back to the future, kind of before that. I was newly married 1 year. I worked for Cisco Systems, the tech company, not the food company, with a C, in San Jose. A lot of people, oh, you work for the food company? No, I sell routers and switches. And sometimes I really don't know what that means, but I sell a lot of them, and they pay me a lot of money. And I buy a lot of neat things, like shoes. Because this was my life. This is what mattered to me. So on April 29th, I was 29 years old, I was newly married. I would get on a plane at 5 a.m. in the morning on Monday and fly to Atlanta into my territory of 8 states. I had a $65 million quota broken down as $1.5 million a week. Woo, it's stressful. You can only imagine you're always 30 days away from a paycheck at Cisco Systems. A Super Bowl winner in New York laid his Super Bowl ring down on the sales meeting table one day and said, "Winning this ring was easier than working here." It is a high stress level. I was never home. I spent $3,000 on clothing in Boca Raton, Florida in an hour. My American Express bill came in an 8.5 by 11 envelope. My husband called and said, "What have you been doing?" This was my life. This is what mattered. So April 29th of 2001, the entire organization of Cisco System was called into the office, and they had major layoffs. And I was one of them. Yay me. Not at the time. I got to hand over my laptop, 90 emails a day. Now that was in 2001. How many of you get 90 emails a day today? That was a lot of work. I handed over my phone, and it was like an alcoholic handing over all the liquor bottles. Here, okay. And then I had to sign my life away for a severance package, which I'm very grateful for the severance package. But you leave that environment and you think, oh my gosh, my life is over. You just took work away from me, and I'm a workaholic. And that was my world. That is what mattered. I was into things. I was into stuff. So I went home, and of course addicts have a backup plan. I'd already called Sprint. I handled the Sprint account, and I had this wonderful man named Hank Adams create a position for me, and he gave me a job. He filled the need of work. Work. And then 9/11 hit. Oh, and I failed to mention 4 weeks after I got laid off, my husband got laid off from Nortel. So there we sat, both of us, 29 and 33, no job. It was a rough time. It was really rough. And so 9/11 hit, the Twin Towers came down. I drove home from Sprint. My husband was at home watching probably cars, planes, and automobiles. And I said, I cannot live this life. I am not happy. This is not going to happen. We're going to have kids. We're newly married. I don't think people know you have a wife. I'm not here. Something has to change. I don't know what it is, but I'm going to start an insurance agency. And he was like, okay, honey. So I took my severance package and I started my insurance agency. I needed flexibility if we ever had children. That was kind of in the back of our mind. Now I quit that insurance agency like 1,400 times. You know, you go from making $200,000 a year to nothing. You want to quit a lot. But I knew that I began with the end in mind, that I wanted flexibility for my child, when I have her. So over the next 15 years, I would transform from this shiny life that I thought was important to growing a business, to meeting great people in my life that would help me now with Grateful Box. I would buy my father's book of business when he got cirrhosis of the liver. I was his retirement plan. Things that would happen to me, I knew God fired me from Cisco Systems. Now in the moment, it was the worst time of my life. I loved that job. I've never been fired from anything. I'm a workaholic. I love it. I love to work. But it was defining who I was. So God knew I had to be fired to get to another path. And so over the next 15 years, I would learn to practice gratitude. I would crave gratitude. I would crave there has to be something better than all this stuff. You know, at the end of the day, it's just stuff. And so my transformation years, in 2008, I started studying gratitude and relationships. And in 2010, I came up with the concept of Grateful Box. Because I think that people don't practice gratitude and they don't nurture relationships intentionally. How many of you in the room practice gratitude every day? Write a gratitude list. If we could just shift a little bit of people practicing gratitude, then we can change the world. We can make Beth's life easier because we'll have more positive stories, right? Because it is just negative. And I fight fear and worry every day, but I fight the fear and worry every day with gratitude. My mom thinks, because she's an instant gratification person, well, you just learn fear and worry one day. No, that's like eating one piece of broccoli and never eating vegetables again. It doesn't work that way. We fight fear and worry every day. And so gratitude helped transform me into being grateful for things I cannot buy on Amazon Prime. Because today, now I would love to buy that yacht on Amazon Prime. Now that's the boat my dad had, you know, that one I showed you. And he's still into shiny. I'm still working on him. He's my thesis. He's still into shiny. I love him, but he's still into shiny. So I transformed into gratitude. It is a transformation. You have to do it intentionally. So when I came up with the Grateful Box as a physical reminder to practice gratitude, I'm on a mission to help women unlearn fear and worry. And when you have that little voice in your head that says, maybe this isn't your path, maybe this isn't you, don't stand there with your hairdryer going, yeah, okay, God, I'll get back to you on that. I'm doing insurance right now. I don't have time to do gratitude. I've said that because you have this gnawing little voice in your head. And sometimes we're like, yeah, I'm over here doing this. And I did that in insurance. So this is what matters to me today. Not that shiny yacht, not my BMW 525i. I would give it all up for this because it's just stuff. It's just stuff. I tell my mother today, because she's into stuff. We're still working on my parents. I've never seen anybody with a U-Haul at the funeral behind the hearse. I've never seen it, Mom. It's just stuff. And so I think my defining moment had to happen. Had my defining moment not happened, my husband told me this week in the kitchen, I would not be married to you anymore. I would not have my daughter. I would probably be running Cisco Systems, and I would be totally miserable. And my defining moment wasn't my choice. Sometimes it's not. And so I'm so grateful to have moved into this path and been smart enough to listen to the little voice in my head that gratitude and relationships are my passion. And I'm on a mission to teach others that it will help you. It's a way to get rid of the worry in your life, is to practice gratitude. So we at Grateful Box, we do have a physical box that we sell, but we also have an app. And we will send you a note of gratitude every day, because it is our mission to get you to think more in grateful moments, for you to be grateful for things that you can't buy on Amazon Prime, because really going to buy clothes and shoes and all that, it's fun, but at the end of the day, it's just stuff. It's just stuff, and you can't take it with you. So I didn't cough through the whole thing. I'm so excited, but I appreciate to get up here, and I just want you to think about your defining moments and how you handle them. And they happen for a reason, and God puts them in your life, either voluntary or not. Thanks so much.